Welcome to BBC News Now. We begin with the breaking news that Iran's Supreme Leader...
The recording of Iran's Supreme Leader.
The
Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
Iran remains one of the most dangerous threats to the United States.
Iran's cruel regime wastes tens of billions of dollars spreading hate.
He is one of the most powerful men on earth, yet millions outside Iran barely know his name. Who is Ayatollah Ali Khamenei? Not a president, but more powerful than one. Not a king, but treated like one. Curious fam, let's uncover the man behind Iran's true power.
Iran's Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has warned Washington of irreparable consequences if the US becomes directly involved in Israel's military campaign against Tehran.
Ali Hosseini Khamenei was born in 1939 in Mashhad, one of the holiest cities in Iran. His father was a respected religious scholar, and from an early age, Ali was immersed in Islamic teachings, philosophy, and politics. He didn't grow up with wealth. In fact, he once said their house didn't even have heating in winter. But this young cleric could one day rule a nation. In the 1970s, Iran was ruled by Mohammad Reza Shah, a Western-backed monarch, but under the surface, discontent was boiling. Why? The Shah's regime was rich, corrupt, and oppressive, and many Iranians, especially religious scholars like Khamenei, saw Western influence as toxic. Khamenei joined the revolutionary movement led by Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, the fierce critic of the Shah. He was arrested 6 times for his activism, imprisoned, and even exiled. But when the Islamic Revolution succeeded in 1979 and the Shah was overthrown, everything changed. After the revolution, Iran became an Islamic republic with Ayatollah Khomeini as the supreme leader. Khomeini quickly rose through the ranks. He became Tehran's Friday prayer leader, then defense minister, and in 1981, after a deadly bombing killed Iran's president, Khomeini was voted to replace him. Yes, Ali Khamenei became the president of Iran in the middle of the chaos, war, and the revolution. He held the office for 2 terms, 1981 to 1989, during the brutal Iran-Iraq war. He wasn't flashy, he wasn't the people's favorite, but behind the scene, he was building trust with the only man that mattered, Ayatollah Khamenei. In 1981, Khomeini died, and just like that, a secret meeting was held. But here is the president. No one expected Khomeini to be the next supreme leader. He wasn't a grand Ayatollah, and many clerics thought he was too young, too soft-spoken, too inexperienced. But he had one thing others didn't: loyalty and Khomeini's quiet endorsement. Within hours, Khomeini was appointed as supreme leader of Iran, the highest possible position in the Islamic Republic. He became the man above the president, above parliament, above the law. The final word on war, policy, media, elections, and even things. While presidents came and went, Rafsanjani, Khatami, Ahmadinejad, Rouhani, Khamenei remained. For over 35 years, he has shaped Iran's direction in nuclear negotiations, foreign policy, and even in mass protest. Many Iranians see him as a symbol of resistance to Western domination. Others see him as a symbol of authoritarianism and repression. In 2009, during the Green Movement protest, millions demand change. The world watched, and Khamenei, he stood firm. To his supporters, he is a wise leader defending Iran's soul. To his critics, he is a religious dictator in disgrace.
این تصور هم غلط است که بعضی خیال کنند با حرکات خیابانی یک اهرم فشاری علیه نظام درست میکنند.
But wait, what does Ayatollah even mean? Here is where many people get confused, and it's totally understandable. The word Ayatollah isn't the first name. It's not a political title. And no, it doesn't belong to just one person. The word Ayatollah literally means sign of God in Arabic. It's a religious rank, one of the highest honors in Shi'a Islam, given to the scholars of deep knowledge who are seen as authorities in Islamic law, philosophy, and theology. Think of it like calling someone a doctor or a professor, but in a spiritual context. Except far more powerful in countries like Iran, where religion and politics often intertwine. Some Ayatollahs are poly-spiritual, others like Khomeini and Khamenei wield political influence too. That is where things get complicated. So when you hear Ayatollah Khomeini and Ayatollah Khamenei, you are not hearing the same man. You are hearing 2 very different people who earn the same rank, but walk away very different path. The similarity in names hide a big difference in character, legacy, and vision. Let's be clear. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was the founder of Iran's Islamic Republic, a very revolutionary, exiled for over a decade, who returned in 1979 like a messianic figure. His speeches could move crowds of millions. He was paired, loved, and mythologized. He dreamed of a Shi'a Islamic state ruled by clerics free from Western influence. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, on the other hand, was never as charismatic. He didn't have the same religious rank. He wasn't even a grand Ayatollah when he became supreme leader. But what he lacked in presence, he made up for in strategy. Where Khomeini started a revolution, Khamenei managed its survival. Through wars, sanctions, uprisings, cyber attacks, assassination, and regional conflicts, Khamenei remained the spine of Iran's theocratic system. Khomeini sparked a revolution, Khamenei kept it alive. Where Khomeini relied on fire and fury, Khamenei relied on networks, institutions, and long-term control. He built influence over the judiciary, the military, the intelligence service, and the media. Under his leadership, the balance between region and state tipped towards centralized religious authority. Khamenei's rule has been marked by both resilience and repression. He has maintained internal stability during moments when the country was facing extreme pressure, politically, economically, and even culturally. Iran's military and technological capabilities have expanded under his guidance. He has carefully managed succession politics, keeping rivals in check and ensuring institutional loyalty. But critics inside and outside the country have raised concern. Freedom of expression is tightly controlled. Peaceful protests have at times been met with harsh responses. Women's rights, press freedom, and public dissent remain highly sensitive topics. Many argue that Iran's youth, a massive uneducated part of the population, feels increasingly disconnected from the older generation of leadership. And that tension, if not addressed, could shape the country's future in unpredictable ways. Iran is a nation with a long-term memory. Its people have endured foreign invasions, monarchies, revolution, wars, and economic crises. So when leaders speak about self-reliance, caution, or national dignity, those words don't come from paranoia. They come from generations of real struggle. That historical awareness has shaped Khamenei leadership style, cautious, defensive, and deeply focused on preserving sovereignty and national identity, even at the cost of personal freedoms. Ali Khamenei is now in his mid-80s. The question of succession remains hung in air like a storm cloud. Will the system remain the same after him? Will new voices rise? Will reform be embraced, or will the old guard tighten its grip? These questions are not just political, they are deeply cultural, spiritual, and generational. No matter where one stands, the next chapter in Iran's story is going to be crucial. Not just for its leaders, but for its millions of citizens who carry both pride and pain in their hearts. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is not just a man of power. He is a reflection of Iran's past, its present struggle, and its uncertain future. Understanding him means understanding a country that refuses to be simplified. Curious fam, if you have watched this part, share your thought, not with anger, but with curiosity. Let's talk truth, not side. Thank you.